Red light therapy gives your cells the energy to heal, right? It's not actually healing you, it's giving your body the energy to heal. NASA scientists use it to try to grow plants in space. There are scientific studies, there's clinical studies out there to show that it actually is 10 times more effective than ice baths. Better sleep, less stress, even hair loss, right? It helps with hair loss. It helps with period pains for women. There's also a large performance boost when you do red light therapy treatment before training. It does improve your performance in your sport or in the gym.
Master trainer with 15 years of extensive experience in the fitness industry and the CEO at LumaFlex. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Mr. John Graham, who's going to be talking to us about training, recovery, healing, and a lot more. So, welcome, Mr. John, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your fitness story and your current work?
You want to hear about my story? It's a long story. It's a very, very long story. But I guess it all started with me being somebody that wanted. This is sort of where I like to start. Is I was very young. I was very skinny, and I wanted to get confidence. So I went into the gym. The gym sort of gave me that confidence, and then from there, I was so excited and inspired by training, exercising, building muscle, building athletic performance, that I wanted to share this with other people. So I got into training. I got into personal training, and then I got started opening up gyms because I wanted to scale this impact. Right, I wanted to be able to scale this, impact more people. Instead of just having a one-on-one client, I would try to get like a group of people, and then if I opened up a gym, I would have members, and then if I had a group of trainers, then they would have groups of people. So I ended up opening a series of gyms, and then I got into into fighting. I started boxing, which led into a fight promotion. And all throughout that time, I was I was always riddled with injuries. I had through boxing, I had a tumor in my head. Rugby, I blew out both my shoulders, and I had a very serious knee injury, which I think was from early days of basketball, and then obviously heavy squats. I got very aggressive lifting heavy weight, which I think aggravated the knee. But then my wife introduced red light therapy to help with my knee, and that's where I sort of went down the red light therapy track and started LumaFlex. And now LumaFlex is something that I want the entire world to access. Anyone who's active, who's enjoys sport, enjoys fitness, going to the gym. It gives them a red light therapy product to help manage their pain, manage their rehab. It's sort of a pain management tool, but of course, red light therapy does so much more than just that. And yeah, it's something that you can easily put into your gym bag and use on the go. Easy charge, easy use, using anywhere, anytime. So that's sort of the long story, but obviously a very, very short version, maybe too short. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
That's amazing to know. Thank you for sharing your story
I
with
think it
us.
might be.
And so you're saying that red light therapy helped you in your own recovery with injuries, right?
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
That's
very much
amazing.
so.
Right. And we will definitely dive more deep into red light therapy. But to begin with, you've seen it all in the 15 years. You've seen the traditional bodybuilding world. You've seen competing, and you have competed yourself as well, right? And now moving to the more biohacking side of it, and recovery and better performance. How has your own training approach changed over the years? And what would you uh, like to see the change happening in the traditional bodybuilding world today? People who are just going to the gym to just put on muscle, build muscle, and for aesthetic goals, probably at probably in their teen years, late teens, and in their 20s. What do you want? What's the change that you want to see in the mindset that they have, or the way that they approach recovery as well?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what your goals are when it comes to training. And a lot of there's a lot of information out there about how to be moderate in your training, right? And to sort of think long term, think longevity in training, think very functional. But you also have to remember, if you're competing, if you have like a passion for competition, and you want to be exceptional, you do have to kind of push the limits of what your body can do. There's no one in sport or fitness who has achieved any form of greatness is without injury, or hasn't sustained numerous injuries on the road to their, to their greatness. So that's obviously something you should take note of. But for me personally, obviously I was very, very competitive when I was young, and I wanted to be exceptional in the sport that I was doing. And in the gym, the gym was a way in which I could sort of, try to push my limits and try to, get above, the competition. But now my goals very much have changed, and I'm very much interested in just maintaining a healthy sort of fit life, keeping a moderate body fat percentage, making sure I get good sleep, drinking a lot of good water, making sure that I get enough cardio as well as weight training, right? Making sure I get that balance. And so yeah, my
Right.
goals are
And
very from when I was young.
right, understood. And also, are there some things that you wish you would have done in your early years of training, started, in those years, apart from red light therapy, of course? I mean, that would have been amazing if you could go back and just, begin with that at an early age. But apart from that, are there any other things that you wish you would have included in your early years of training that would, and in terms of longevity, not just like the short-term goals, but in terms of how probably it would help you perform better, or age gracefully in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. So are there some of those things that you
Oh,
wish
a
you would
little
have done
bit
in your
cut
early years
again.
of training?
Yeah, definitely recovery, right? When you're young and you are very competitive and you're in the gym and you're there to prove a point, not only to the other competitors around you, the other athletes, but also to yourself, you get into a mindset that you need to train through the pain. This is very, very common. And I think if I could have gone back, I would have been more focused on my recovery. I would have been obviously using red light therapy. I would have been using ice baths. I would have been getting proper massages, proper stretching. I probably would have upped my cardio a little bit, make sure that my cardio was sort of matching my strength. But a recovery is something that a lot of people forget about, and it is good to have a mindset that you do want to be an athlete mentally and physically, and you do need to sort of appreciate the challenge, appreciate the struggle, and push through it to a certain extent. But obviously, recovery is something that I think I was lacking in my earlier years, and I would go back and I would definitely enhance my recovery a lot more if I could. But yeah.
Yes, perfect. So, and let's dive right into red light therapy. Why red light therapy? Because it's a fairly new concept in the biohacking world. I mean, we would not hear every single person talk about it, not even doctors, right? So, it's fairly new in that way. How is it that you believe so strongly in it, and how has it impacted the people that have already made use of it, through Lumaflex, or anyone else, any other athletes that you know, and how has it impacted the recovery?
Yeah, red light therapy, it sort of kicked off like maybe about 10 years ago, but it's always been in beauty. It's been in the medical field, right? There's been, I mean, the eye doctors use it. You've got dentists who use red light therapy. If you are in a serious car accident and you get a wound on your body, usually if it's a credible hospital, you will be prescribed some sort of red light therapy to help accelerate the healing of that wound. It's been used for brain issues, brain diseases, but in sports and fitness and optimization and overall like optimization, and that's why the biohackers, they're really bringing it there. That's, yeah, I think that kind of it's maybe a little bit less than 10 years ago that it started kicking off. And but red light therapy as itself, obviously we all know it's nothing new. It's light therapy. It's been with us since the beginning of time, right? Red light therapy is available to us when the sun rises and the sun sets. That's when the rays of light are at the right, they're at the right to be able to come into your body, penetrate the skin, and activate your mitochondria inside your cells. So near infrared, going deeper into your bones. Red, for skin. This is something I think, obviously back in primal times when we wake up, we would wake up when the sun rised, and then we'd go to sleep when the sun set. So we'd wake up and we'd get that energy boost. We get our, get our mitochondria activated, get a boost of energy. And then that would, and then we would obviously shut down during the day. That was our circadian rhythm. A lot of times, a lot of people in the world now, given the concrete jungles that we all live in, and we're not exposed to natural light, I think, a lot of people's circadian rhythm is off, and they sort of see red light therapy as something new. It's pseudoscience, but actually it's been around for a long time. Um, NASA scientists use it to try to grow plants in space. Pro athletes have been using it for many, many years. Like most pro athletes, whether they be golfers or NFL athletes, recovery is such an important part of their career, right? They need to be able to play to make money, to make their team money, right? So, the recovery of each athlete being so important, they usually have all the tools necessary to be able to recover. So red light therapy has been pretty prominent in the pro athlete side for a number of years. It's only, in recent, the number of years where it's becoming mainstream, and now anybody can have it. You can have it, in your gym bag and use it on the go, right? And it is getting, traction, and it's good because a lot of people, a lot of biohackers, a lot of, optimizers, they're popularizing it, right? They're talking about it. They're encouraging people to get informed about it. So it's gaining traction. And now, I foresee in the future, people everyone will have a device in their home for whichever reason. If it's something
True.
for, their skin, or if it's something, to help them, manage their pain, or if they have something wrong with their brain, or, they need help sleeping or help waking up. It's going to be, I think, something that'll be in everybody's home in the very, near future.
Absolutely. And athletes would jump right onto all of these recovery tools available to us today because, I mean, it's a part of their career, it's a part of the training, and, they would definitely go out there and do it because it's almost like their life revolves around it, right? But what would you say, how beneficial is this for someone in their, later years, like in their 50s, who have just started training, like they probably never worked out in their life before, and they've just got a trainer, they've started training, working on their health. How beneficial would it be for them to sort of start using red light therapy in their routine?
Yeah, I mean, the old seniors, the active seniors who are retired and they still want to play on the golf course. Actually, red light therapy has such an incredible feedback to them, right? Because they're out in those later years in your life, right? Your body is not as young, it's not as able, not as the performance of your body definitely goes down with age, and that's where red light therapy can really shine. It can really be something like usually people that are older, when they do experience red light therapy, and maybe it's something which, to manage some chronic pain, they've been hitting golf balls and they've always had that bad back, or for my dad, it was always his neck. Usually the feedback is much quicker. They can, sometimes after 10 minutes, they can suddenly, they can decrease their pain measure, right? Like if I ask them, measure 1 to 10, what's the pain that you've had, ever since you were young, and you've been dealing it with these later years in your life, and you're still trying to be active. If they say, oh yeah, it's like an 8, and then after about 10 minutes, usually it can drop down to like 5 or 4, and then with a week use, it goes to 3 or 2. And this is something that we do when we're using red light therapy for older people, that, to help them understand their pain that they're feeling, and how the red light therapy is helping them to manage their pain, and giving them that pain relief. So older people, actually, they're like the best ambassadors for red light therapy, because the response is usually very, very quick, and it's like sometimes it's miraculous. Like they're like, I've had this for years. I've been taking so many different pills and medicine, and it hasn't gone away. But now after one treatment, I'm suddenly cured. That's the stories are usually from older people that still want to be active, and they're dealing with heavy chronic pain, arthritis, and my mom, it was always her knees. She always had very, very bad knees, like me. But I guess I got my weak knees from my mom. But she's seen huge change using red light therapy on her knees. And my dad, it's his neck. I've met and I talk with on a very regular basis, older people that still want to be active. That they're big. They greatly encourage red light therapy's use. Out of any other sort of audience that I deal with, actually.
Understood. That was some really great insights, and I hope the in our audience, our listeners, whoever's listening over 50, definitely consider this because someone who just started working out in their 50s, like even my father, for an example, who never worked out in his life, but now he started taking more care of his health, and he's got a trainer, and it becomes quite heavy on their body in the first few weeks itself, right? And then if there is any slight chance of any little injury or pain, that's where they completely stop the progress, and they stop even going to the gym, right? Because that becomes a big deal for them. So I'm sure that
Yeah.
this would really help them at recovery and a lot more. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I think you're the best person to ask this right now. This is a genuine user question. So of course, if anybody would like to go for the portable devices for red light therapy, I mean, LumaFlex would be one of the best ones, the elite ones, and whoever can invest in it, that's amazing, right? But what are some pointers that as buyers we should keep in our mind when we are purchasing these portable red light devices? Because there are so many of these options, like one of those most common ones are the red light therapy lamps that you get on Amazon or some other brands. But how can we know the authenticity of that, and what are some things that we should definitely look for in the description of the product and when we are buying it?
Yeah, I mean, what would you be using it for? Like, I guess would be the first thing. And I guess your personal. So for the LumaFlex, the device it allows red light therapy to basically be in your hands on the go, right? So I'm very big into portability. Like, I don't like the idea of buying something and it has to stay at your house, or then I like something that you can take with you. So I move around a lot. I'm always traveling, and I kind of feel like the way people should have something in their bag with them. So
Hmm.
for me, I would always recommend that a device that is easily portable. Flexibility is another big thing. The LumaFlex, the flexible panel allows actually the red light the therapy to wrap around bones and joints. So this maximizes the amount of red light, the treatment that you're getting to that affected area. So that I think is a very, very important thing as well. Is if you have a device like a panel, for example, it is good, but like traveling in a straight line, usually a lot of the will bounce off the side of you. You're not maximizing the amount of treatment that you can
Right.
get. With a flexible device, you can wrap it around, the affected area. Also, skin. For the optimal feedback, it should be touching your skin.
Hmm.
So, but it all depends, I guess, on what you're using the red light therapy device for. There are masks for women that they use, these facial masks for
Right.
beauty, and that touches their skin. They put it on, right? And then I've seen people buy large devices and actually create like a red light therapy room, almost like a sauna, a red and
Right.
infrared light sauna. And this is something that, of course, if you were completely declothed and you were to go into it, the amount of cellular, mitochondria energy you're getting is maximized because you're getting more cells, at the same time. So that's good. But that again is something that usually people that can afford it, they put it at their house. But I guess it all varies, the use case of your red light therapy device and what exactly you need. Is it for beauty? Is it for help you, manage pain?
Hmm.
Some pain for me, I think, is the big sort of big benefit to red light therapy. 100% natural, non-invasive treatment, with zero side effects, right? Whereas with pharma, you have like numerous side effects of taking painkillers and pills, right? So if you have a device that is natural, yeah, because red light therapy gives your cells the energy to heal, right? It's not actually healing you; it's giving your body the energy to heal. So if you have a device specifically for pain, being able to move it around into the pain area is, I think, very important. And then also having the device, able to be moved for where you are. The situation, like if I want to watch TV, I want to put the device on, I want to multitask, right?
True.
Or if I'm, if someone's playing with their kids or they're working on the computer, right? Or even if they're walking around the house, if they can strap it to their body and they're also able to get their pain management treatment at the same time. I think that's key when choosing a device. Um,
Right.
but yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of,
and talking about like pain management, like Lumaflex looks like one of the most easiest way to go about it, right? Like I said, it's portable and it's quite easy the application of it. And just for the reference of our audience, like in what scenarios of pain have you used it for, and how much time did it help you relieve the pain? Like was it like a sprain, or just you slept weird at night, and how in what scenarios does it really help you on a daily basis apart from being an athlete, but for someone who's not an athlete, and in how much time can they expect the relief to come in for them?
yeah, it varies to each person. Sometimes it varies on the individual of how the response, how quickly they can feel pain relief after using it. Sometimes it can be after one treatment. Sometimes it's 1 week. But usually, whenever I, talking with someone that has some kind of pain, some kind of, twitch in their back, all right, or a sore neck or something, maybe on the, sort of more of a chronic issue where they've dealt with it for many, many years. Usually, I give them around 2 weeks. If daily use, 20 minutes a day, maybe even 2 times a day, 20 minutes. After
Hmm.
2 weeks, I'm pretty confident that unless it is an extremely serious pain condition, and usually, it's like that. When people sell, when you have a phone, right, and you have a cover that's really strong, and they do these advertisements for the cover where they throw the phone off like a balcony, right? And they're like, wow, the phone is still good, it's still safe, right? And then people want to test it, and they throw the phone down. And I always use that analogy to describe someone's pain. If someone's saying like, how quickly can I be relieved from pain? I can say, yeah, it all depends on how like the pain condition that you have, right? And I'm confident that most pain conditions it can fix. But if it is a very serious condition, like, if you're trying to throw the phone down, of course the case is going to break if you're throwing it down, right?
Right.
Um, that's kind of where I always say, like, if you have a broken bone, if your bone's been broken, it can help heal it. But yes, you still need to do your rehab. You're still a protocol that you need to follow to be able to, help your injury. I blew out both my shoulders, and that was a good number of months, 6 to 8 months on these shoulders. And I wasn't using red light therapy at that time; it was my younger years. But stuff where you're dislocating bones, or bones are breaking, that red light therapy can greatly accelerate the healing. But there's still a process of rehab and tendon healing, and that you have to go through to get fully fixed. But I've been I've been pleasantly surprised by a number of conditions, especially from, like I said, older people with chronic pain that they've dealt with for years, that usually in around 2 weeks, it's completely cleared up. So, yeah, it's amazing. It's actually, yeah, I don't know why, more people aren't talking about this.
True, exactly. And have you noticed that has it reduced your risk to injury when you're training? Like, because if you're using it on a daily basis, like say after your workouts, or like you've mentioned in your post, it can be used multiple times of the day, right? So, and I'm sure you yourself are using it already a lot of times. So, has it reduced your risk of injury while working out in any way?
Yeah, yeah. And depending on what you train for, what your sort of intensity level is. I'm not competing now. I'm sort of toying with the idea of fighting again, but I don't think that's happening. I'm obviously too busy with this company, growing this company. So I'm not my training isn't very aggressive. So I'm not really injury prone to begin with. I'm not really trying to be exceptional in the gym and achieve a certain standard to be able to compete in a sport. But yeah, because there's also a large performance boost when you do red light therapy treatment before training. It does improve your performance in your sport, or in the gym, or if you're taking, you're doing a run. It's just more difficult to measure that performance increase for the
Hmm.
average person who isn't hooked up to, computers and having everything recorded. It's more easier for the average person who does some form of exercise or is active to understand the recovery part, right? Oh, my muscles sore because I trained those muscles. Now, it seems like I'm not sore anymore after this treatment, after this 10-minute treatment. Or I had this pain in my neck, my back, or my elbow from whatever sport, and now it's gone. Usually, pain relief, injury, management, and overall like muscle soreness or joint soreness is something that the feedback is very well understood and recognized by the average person. But yeah, but performance definitely, you get a performance boost by using red light therapy before training, and that of course can translate into better performance and being, not sustaining any injuries during training. So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of.
Understood. These are really great insights. Thank you for sharing these with us. And do you guys ship to India?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, worldwide
Amazing.
ship.
That's good news for us because in India there are not many infrared sauna facilities even available right now. Like there are saunas, there are even cryo chambers, but very few infrared saunas or these things that we can access at our health center nearby. It's very rare. And the other things available is, like I mentioned before, are the panels or like the red light lamps, which are like we don't know the authenticity of it, right? So this really makes so much sense, and I'm sure that our athletes would definitely jump onto this because this would really help them in the long run, and I hope they make use of it in the early years of training and not think about it later on. But that's really good news for us because this comes in
That's
very
correct.
handy, and even for our senior citizens or people over 50 training, like I said, because they are the ones who would really invest in their health. They do have the money, they will invest in their health right now, because you would see these people like get the most expensive gym membership and the the clothes and the protein shakes, everything. But if they can invest in this right now, it would be like a long term investment. So I'm sure that this would really help. And the ones who'd like to reach out and check out the equipment for themselves, Lumaflex, it'll be there in the description below. You can check out the links and get it for yourself. So that's good news for the
Yeah,
audience.
fantastic. Yeah, if you message me on Instagram, I have some discount codes, 220 US dollar off the price. I can get, send out some discount codes for anybody who's listening.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And lastly, what would be your some recovery non-negotiables apart from red light therapy?
Oh, something else other than red light therapy to have in your recovery protocol. I would definitely say ice baths. Yeah, if and that's the with the Lumaflex Body Pro, this is fully waterproof, so
Hmm.
you can actually do it in your ice bath as well. Um, but red light therapy has actually been like there are scientific studies, there's clinical studies out there to show that it actually is 10 times more effective than ice baths. But if I were to have, you know, go God mode on my recovery, I would have ice bath and red light therapy. These two things
Right.
for sure.
Of
Yeah.
course. And yeah, now that you mentioned it's waterproof, that means that we can easily take it into our steam sauna, right? Like when we are in a steam sauna, we can wear
Yeah.
it and have the benefits of both. So best of both worlds. So that works very well for us. Thank you for sharing that with us. And lastly, as we conclude the episode today, do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with?
Oh yeah, just I would encourage anybody who's listening to definitely research about red and near infrared light. It is growing. The community of people that understand this, that are promoting it, and that are learning about it is growing very very fast. And I predict in the future as much different methodologies and programs and books and concepts out there about different kinds of eating, for health or performance, and there's different kinds of programs for training, in the gym, and is going to be the same for light therapy. In the future, I predict there will be light coaches that'll just be like personal trainers or nutritionists, or strength and conditioning, coaches. I think there will be light coaches who will
True.
optimize their, their client, whether they be an athlete or just, a retired mother who, still wants to, do her swimming or whatever, right? They're going to optimize all the different kinds of light and all the different products of light to be, to give that person, better sleep, less stress, even hair loss, right? It helps with hair
Hmm.
loss. It helps with period pains for women, right? Helps, like there's a vast number of things that red and near infrared light does, and it's really growing. And I predict in the future it's going to be very prominent. So anybody listening, definitely research about it, learn about it, and be someone who is one of the first to preach and educate others about this amazing 100% non-invasive treatment that we all deserve, right? And we all need, right?
Absolutely. That makes so much sense, especially when you say about the light coaches, because simply managing now that we are being introduced to this and people are talking about this, just managing your blue and white light throughout the day, like at night, what light you should be exposed to, what not, like just making these little shifts in itself can make a major difference. So I'm sure that this is something that we can, and it's really fun to research and, play around with also. So nothing would hurt you if you do that. So that's some
Yeah,
really good news for us. And thank you. That was a lovely message as we conclude the episode. Once again, we're really grateful to have you here today. And I hope that our listeners make use of the technology available to us now that it does ship to India. So they'll find the details in the description below.
excellent.
That's it for today's episode. I am Sakshi Pawar and I'll be your host for the Settle or Be Better podcast. So stay tuned while we bring more inspiring stories. You know the drill. Subscribe to the Settle or Be Better podcast, like, share, and comment on our videos. And oh, hit the bell icon because you don't want to miss the mind boggling health discussions we're about to bring for you. Why settle when you can be better?